and welcome to this episode. There is one type of behavior in the natural world that has fascinated people almost everywhere on Earth. Whenever it occurs, it attracts enormous attention and curiosity. Yes, we are talking about animal migration, and more specifically, butterfly migration. Across the world, many people have experienced the remarkable sight of vast numbers of butterflies flying past in a steady stream. When this happens, the questions begin immediately. Where do they come from? Where are they going? Will they come back? What species are they? And the curiosity continues from there. Before we go any further, it is useful to define the term migration. A general scientific definition describes migration as the regular, large-scale movement of individuals or populations from one geographic area to another. These movements often occur seasonally or over longer periods and are driven by factors such as food availability, climate, reproduction, or improved living conditions. Migration can involve temporary or permanent relocation and may occur within a country or across international borders. The concept applies broadly to humans, animals, and even plants through mechanisms such as seed dispersal. However, in this discussion, we will add a small personal bias to the definition, focusing specifically on animals, and butterflies in particular. In the animal world, migration is most often driven by the need for the survival of the species, rather than the survival of any individual. For that reason, we will exclude humans from this discussion and focus entirely on migration within the animal kingdom, not plants. Some migrations in the natural world are widely known. In Africa, perhaps the most famous is the wildebeest migration of East Africa. In the Northern Hemisphere, there is the massive migration of the caribou across Arctic landscapes. And of course, there are the great annual migrations of birds, some traveling thousands of kilometers, from places as distant as Russia all the way to South Africa. In the butterfly world, the most famous migration is probably that of the American monarch. Although that example comes from another continent, our main focus in this episode will be Africa, and we will highlight a few species that are frequently observed migrating here. The evolution of animals has been strongly influenced by movement, and migration plays an important role in that process. But what actually causes migration? One of the most important drivers is seasonality. For butterflies in particular, seasonal changes can affect the availability of host plants, suitable temperatures, and the energy needed for survival and reproduction. Migration can also be influenced by external pressures, such as predation or sudden changes in population size. Regardless of the specific cause, migration almost always provides a benefit to the species as a whole, sometimes directly and sometimes indirectly. The migration types we will discuss here are not formal scientific categories. Instead, they represent a personal interpretation of the different migratory behaviors observed in butterflies. Circular migration refers to situations where a species moves from one location to another and eventually returns to its original region. In other words, it involves temporary relocation. It is important to note that this relocation does not necessarily involve the same individual butterfly returning. Instead, the journey may be completed across several generations. Although we are focusing mainly on Africa, it would be impossible not to mention the iconic American monarch, whose migration is one of the most remarkable in the butterfly world. These butterflies travel from the northern United States and areas near the Canadian border across the entire United States to Mexico and Florida. Two main populations, an eastern and a western population, undertake this migration each year. In autumn, they travel south to warmer regions where they overwinter. In spring, the migration begins again as successive generations move northwards towards their original breeding areas. Individual butterflies may travel distances of up to 5,000 kilometers, usually during the southern journey. The return north happens over multiple generations, with butterflies breeding along the way. Other species show similar behavior. Certain milkweed butterflies in Asia, such as the species of the crow's group, blue tigers, and glossy tigers, undertake comparable migrations. The crow butterflies of India are also well-known examples. Another species that exhibits circular migration is the painted lady, although interestingly, this behavior is most pronounced in northern populations, such as those in North Africa and Europe. In some parts of the world, authorities have taken steps to protect migrating butterflies. Roads have been temporarily closed or speed limits introduced along migration routes to reduce mass casualties. This has occurred in the United States for the monarch and in Taiwan for the purple crow butterfly migration. Dispersal migration is quite different. In this case, large numbers of butterflies spread outwards from a densely populated region, often without a clearly defined destination. Because of this, observers may see migrations moving west to east at one location and south to north at another. The direction can vary depending on your location. A well-known South and East African example is the brown-veined white. This butterfly breeds on the shepherd's tree in the Kalahari. Under certain conditions, often when predatory animals are unusually scarce, large numbers of caterpillars survive and feed on the host trees. The caterpillars can become so numerous that they strip the shepherd's trees almost completely bare. It is believed that the resulting shortage of food triggers a genetic response in the butterflies, prompting them to disperse over long distances. This dispersal reduces pressure on the host plants and results in enormous numbers of butterflies flying away from the original breeding area. Along their journey, these butterflies are often observed flying in clear directional movements, creating the impression of migration. Although the adult butterflies have relatively short lifespans, they mate and lay eggs along the way, producing new generations. Those generations may inherit the same dispersal response, allowing the movement to continue across very long distances. Remarkably, brown-veined whites originating in the Kalahari have been observed as far away as Madagascar. Another example in South Africa is the African migrant, which generally migrates during late summer. These butterflies begin their lives on elandspie, a plant native to the southern Kalahari. Other species around the world, including the painted lady, also show similar dispersal behavior. The next category is somewhat less scientific and perhaps even a little humorous. We refer to this as adventurous migration. In the previous migration types, there are usually clear causes for the movement. In this case, however, it seems that some butterflies simply join an existing migration. Scientists might well laugh at this description, but field observations suggest that many different species occasionally become caught up in large migratory swarms. Perhaps they are drawn in by the movement itself, perhaps by the possibility of finding a mate among the masses, or perhaps simply by instinct. Whatever the reason, migratory streams often contain a mix of species, including butterflies such as orange tips, lemon travelers, suffused acreas, and others, moving together with the main migrating species. Another phenomenon, although not always involving directional movement, is what we call explosion migration. Here, large numbers of butterflies appear suddenly in particular locations. This often happens when unusually high numbers of caterpillars survive through to the pupal and adult stages. The result can be enormous concentrations of butterflies emerging at the same time. In some cases, the butterfly remain in the same area, forming large stationary groups. In others, they begin moving away in loose swarms. For example, we have observed thousands of spotless policeman butterflies gathered in Port St. John's on the South African east coast. On another occasion, large flying groups of African snout butterflies were seen in Zululand, on the eastern part of South Africa. These appear to fly in a northeastern direction. Both of these species are typically quite rare, making such events especially striking. These explosions tend to occur randomly and are not easily predicted, hence our separation from dispersal migration, which occurs relatively frequently. Another type of migration, habitat modification migration, is most likely caused by human activity. When humans modify landscapes by planting crops, introducing ornamental garden plants, or changing natural habitats, they can unintentionally create new opportunities for certain butterfly species. As a result, those species may expand their range into areas where they were previously unknown. For example, the blue pansy has gradually spread southwards in South Africa. Similarly, the white-barred emperor, once known mainly from the eastern coastal regions, is now increasingly found in cities such as Cape Town and Johannesburg. The final type we will mention is what we call accidental migration. This occurs when butterflies are carried across natural barriers, such as oceans, by strong winds. It may even include caterpillars being transported via fresh fruit, such as cabbages. Gravid females or male butterflies may be blown far beyond their normal range. If they survive and reproduce in the new area, they may establish entirely new populations. Over long periods of time, these isolated populations may evolve and eventually become new species. In conclusion, butterflies are capable of dispersing across remarkable distances and for many different reasons. Whether driven by seasonal change, population pressure, environmental shifts, or even simple chance, these movements can produce some of the most spectacular natural events in the insect world. Hopefully we will see you again in the next episode. And please don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and click the notification button. But beyond that, why not invite your friends and family to join us on this journey? Together, perhaps we can help turn the whole world into butterfly lovers. After all, most people already are, they just don't realize it yet. If you have not seen our previous videos and would like to learn about where to go and how to identify them, please visit our channel. Remember, if you have comments, please add them. We are really interested to hear what you have to say. And if you have enjoyed the video, please hit the thumbs up button. See you in the next episode.